All right, so this morning we're going to start out with our little warm up. We have a subtraction problem here. So on your whiteboard or on a scratch piece of paper, I want you to write down 1,503 and then take away 278. Be sure that you are lining up all of those numbers. The ones place needs to be with the ones place. Tens place needs to be under the tens place. Otherwise, you're gonna run into some problems. So it's important that you make sure it's in the right place. Okay? All right, so 1,503 take away 278. Okay? As soon as you have an idea what your answer is, I want you to show me your work. Hold it up to the screen so I can see what you guys did. Okay, so I've got mine written down here. Don't forget to think about borrowing or regrouping. If you don't have enough on the top to take away in a place, then you need to make sure you're borrowing from the place next to it. Okay. All right. Eli, you are part of group 2. Make sure you check your email for your assignment today, and I will see you at 10:30. Okay. Good morning, Graham. Good morning, Oakley. We are working on a subtraction problem right now. So I would like you to write down 1,503 minus 278. Okay. Okay. So good. I'm seeing lots of smart thinking. Good. Anna and Leighton, I would love to see your thinking. Good. All right, I'm seeing some different answers here today. Oakley, could you write down your problem? Graham, I would love to see what you've written down. Oakley, do you have a piece of paper or a whiteboard? Nothing? Do you have any where you are? Could you go get a piece of paper or a whiteboard? How are you going to do your job today? All right, well, you watch. All right, so first of all, here's how I would do it. I'm going to look in the ones place. I've got 3, and I want to take away 8 ones. Well, if I had 3 cookies, could I eat 8 of them? Nope, I could not. So I need to go next door so that I can use one of those 10s, except what's wrong? There is no 10s there. So I need to keep going over to the hundreds. So I'm going to borrow one of the hundreds and I'm going to break it apart. And there are 10 tens inside of 100. Now I need to keep going because I need to get some in the ones place. So I'm going to borrow one of those tens and I'm going to move it over to the ones place. So if I take one of those tens and I move it to the ones place, now I have 13 ones. Okay? Give me a thumbs up if you did that same regrouping or borrowing? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs down if yours looked different than mine did. Yeah, if yours looked different, if your thumb is down right now, I want you to look and think, which part is different? Did I forget something? And stick that part in your mind so that next time you can try to remember. Okay, so now if I have 13 ones, I can take away 8 ones and I would have 5 ones left. If I have 9 tens, I can take away 7 tens and that would give me 2 tens left. 4 hundreds, take away 200 equals 2 hundreds left. And if I have 1,000 and I have no 1,000s I want to take away, I would still have 1,000 left. Okay? So if you got 1,225 as your answer, you were correct. Now, if you didn't, that's okay. Remember, we're going to look at where we made our mistake. My guess is that some of you forgot to borrow from the 10 before you moved it over to the ones place. Okay, I'm going to show you what that would look like. Sometimes this is what friends do, especially when there's a 0. Okay, they say, oh, I don't have enough, so I'm going to go next door. Nope, there's none there, so I'm going to go next door. So they borrow one of these hundreds and they move it to the tens, but then they also move it to the ones. Now, can you see the difference between this problem that I did and this second problem that I did? Who could raise their hand and tell me what is the difference between the two problems that I did? What was the difference? Okay, because this would be what my answer would be if I did it this way. Who can raise their hand and tell me what did I do differently in this second problem? What did I do differently? Oswaldo. Yeah. And so I ended up with 10 extra, didn't I? Because I forgot to take one of these 10s in order to move it here. And so I ended up with some extra. Yep, good. All right. I'm going to go back to presenting. Yesterday, we started thinking about word problems and what kind of things we need to remember when we are doing our word problems, okay? And so today we are going to continue talking about word problems, but first we're going to review. What are those things that we need to keep in our mind and remember when we are doing our word problems, okay? So first of all, we need to remember that we have a great resource at our house. It was in your math take-home packet that you got with materials pickup. Some really good key words for our word problems. So first of all, it is very important that you read the problem. Now, if some of the words are too tricky for you, it's very important that you ask for help so that you understand what you are trying to find. You also need to make sure that you are thinking about what key words are in the story problem. Are those keywords telling you to add? Or are they telling you to subtract? Do you have to do some of both in order to find your answer? And then make sure you're really thinking carefully about what is the question that they're asking you. What are they wanting you to find out? Which part is missing? Okay, so we're going to try another story problem together this morning. So I want you to listen. I'm going to read it for you, and then I want you to use your whiteboard or scratch paper in order to solve this problem for me. Grandma made 400 cookies. All right. Grandma made 400 cookies. TJ ate some of them and took 368 home. How many cookies did TJ eat at Grandma's? Okay, so you start thinking, what keywords maybe did we find? How are we going to figure out the answer to how many cookies did TJ eat at Grandma's? So I'm going to read it one more time. Grandma made 400 cookies. TJ ate some, and he took 368 home. How many cookies did TJ eat at Grandma's? So see what you can solve. And then if you figure out what you solved, I want you to hold up your work so that I can see what you were thinking. Okay. Okay, so I want to see what you're thinking. Make sure you hold up and show me. What does your problem look like? I see Anna's working really hard. I can see Lexi's brain is working. Love it. Layla's working hard and Trevor. Okay, Graham, if you could turn your camera on, and same with Leighton, I would love to see your work, even if you're not feeling very confident, even if you're feeling like, oh, I don't know how to do this. I want to see what you're doing because that will help me to know how to help you to become an even better mathematician. Okay, good. Leighton, what are you thinking? Will you hold that up real close to your camera? Do you have your problem written down? All right. So I see that a lot of you are thinking some subtraction would be a good idea. So we had 400 of the cookies, and it says that he ate some of them. Just a second, Cadence. Okay. Now, do we know how many he ate? We don't. It's some of them. So we could put a blank there. And then we know that he ended up with 368 to take home. Okay? Kaden, go ahead. Cadence, sorry. Well, tell me, what did you do? What problem did you use? Okay, good. So remember, yep, I'm going to put it this way just because that's easier for me on my computer, but you're right. You will want to make it go vertical or up and down. Actually, I'll try it that way. Let's see. If I move this over, there you go. Is this what yours looked like? Good. And then I bet you put a line under it, just like that. Good. Okay. So yeah, hang on just a second. Leighton, I noticed that you put addition, and I'm so glad that you gave it a try and wrote down an equation. Now, let's think about it. Leighton, if you have a bag of cookies and you eat some, what happens to the number of cookies that you have left? Do you have more cookies or less cookies after you ate them? Less cookies, yeah. So anytime we are going to end up with a smaller number, we're going to want to subtract. We're going to want to take it away. All right, so Cadence, tell me, what was the answer that you ended up getting? Ooh, So Cadence is thinking 32. Does anyone else have a different